Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. 3:47 p.m. Saturday afternoon. And earlier this morning, I checked my email, as I so often do. And I had one of the viewers ask me to do a reaction video about a story that I had never heard of. So, I took about an hour or so, hour and a half, and looked into the story and got as much details as I possibly could. And it really saddens me. It really, really saddens me that not only does police brutality continue to exist, knowing that people are recording, knowing that there are cameras everywhere, knowing that they have on body cams, police brutality continues to exist. Now it's gotten to the point to where it's not just on adults, typically black adults, just what it is. But it's not simply adults. Now it's kids. Basically, this story took place, incident rather, on February the 15th, 2022. I was not familiar with this story whatsoever. Happened at an elementary school in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now, when you think about an elementary school, kids go to school, that should be a safe haven for them. Just like when they come home, they should feel safe and protected at home. Well, school is very similar. When you go to school, you're supposed to, you go, you learn, and you get your education and what have you, but you should never, ever have to worry about violence, especially from an adult police officer. Young kid, 8-year-old kid. He was a special needs kid. I believe it was Freedom Elementary School, as I mentioned, in Cheyenne, Wyoming. An incident had occurred. They never really said exactly what incident occurred, but something had occurred between him and assumingly another student. So, you know how when you're in school, when you get in trouble, the teacher, they take you out in the hallway, or they send you out in the hallway. I know I used to get sent out in the hallway all the time. I always did my work, but I was kind of like a class clown back in the day, That's what they say. But nevertheless, young kid was outside speaking with the teacher, and the principal comes along. And so the principal, the teacher, they're talking and discussing the incident that took place. All of a sudden, there was a deputy working at the school. Guess he was working like security, but he's an actual deputy officer by the name of Benjamin Jaquot. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the last name correctly, but it's Jacquut. So that's his last name. 250-pound deputy. Quite sure that he looked very, very intimidating to an 8-year-old kid that weighed 68 pounds that had special needs. So the deputy approaches the situation. He has his body cam on. The body cam is recording everything. Everything is calm. The kid's explaining his side. The principal, he's listening. The teacher, she's listening. She's talking as well. And after about 5 minutes, the kid proceeds to walk back to his classroom. There was no sort of confrontation. anything of that sort. All of a sudden, this 250-pound deputy grabs the kid, grabs him by his arm, so he's kind of, tossing him around a little bit. The kid is like, "What did I do? Stop, please, you're hurting me, stop." The deputy is screaming at the kid at the top of his lungs. He proceeds to essentially beat the kid. Beat him so bad to where it caused bruises and blood on his face. Now, I want you all to imagine most people have kids. So imagine your 8-year-old kid, or however old your kid may be, but in this particular situation, kid was 8 years old. Imagine a 250-pound man violently assaulting your child. Helpless. I didn't see the principal interact. I didn't see the teachers interacting. I didn't see anyone. I didn't hear anyone saying anything. And they could have been, don't get me wrong, but the footage that I seen, there was no one there for that 8-year-old kid with special needs. That officer places him, face down. As I mentioned, he blood, bruises all over his face. He's screaming at him. The kid is pleading, "Please stop. I give up. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. You win." The officer is screaming, "You tried to bite me. I should take you to jail." My thing is this. This is the thing about it. That officer went way overboard. The kid didn't even do anything, but he felt the need to assault that kid violently. I mean, there's a video, and I actually, if I had the time, this would be the one time that I would edit the video and actually post the assault. But you all can Google it. I gave you the individual's name, and you can Google this assault and see exactly for yourself, for your own two eyes. All I could think about was, wow, at one point I had an 8-year-old. How would I react to a situation in which I seen or I heard about? I know what I would do if I seen it. But if I heard about a grown man, 250-pound man, beating up my 8-year-old kid, my 8-year-old special needs kid that weighs 68 pounds. It's really a sad thing, a sad situation to know that these type of people still exist. These type of people are the ones that walk the face of this earth instead of being in their rightful place, which should be prison. This guy should be locked up and the key should be thrown away. Not only did he assault the kid violently, he attempted to destroy the footage. Pretty typical. He attempted to destroy the body cam footage. I'm not sure exactly what happened with this individual. I'm going to have to dig and do more research, and I'll do a part 2 to this video. But I do know that the parents are actually suing the school. They should sue the police department. They should sue any and everyone that remotely was close to this situation and had anything to do with this violent assault on this 8-year-old special needs kid. Now, for you all that follow me, I greatly appreciate you. You watch my channel. A lot of my videos is prison content. I speak about prison. I talk about what happens in prison. My whole goal is to deter young people, if you will, from going to prison. telling them these stories so that they'll think twice and, whoa, Real Ken said this. I may not want to do that. I don't want to wind up in this situation. It's never to glorify anything. There's nothing cool about being in prison. Absolutely nothing. You're a zero when you're in prison. That's how they treat you. You may be a hero out on the streets, but in prison, you turn into a zero. And an individual such as Deputy Benjamin would have a very, very difficult time in prison. For something like this, which ultimately, that's where he needs to go, he would have a very difficult time. But see, those are the type of people in prison, guess what? They're going to try to protect him. They're going to try to put him in a special custody. Protective custody, rather. They're going to have extra officers that are looking out for him to make sure that, he's okay. And it's really, really sad. People that abuse kids sexually, physically, are protected the most in prison. I know in Kentucky they are. I don't know about anywhere else because I've never been locked up, thank goodness, in any other states. But I do know this. If you're in prison and you have let's just say you're a sex offender, and I'm just using that as an example. If you're a sex offender, they house you in a total separate unit because you have to go through these sex offender classes. So they keep you separate from the rest of the yard. If you lay one hand on one of those guys, you get charged with a hate crime. You know what hate crimes carry? An awful long time. So they keep these individuals protected. But yet other people that are in prison for other crimes, which crime is a good crime. But when you do things, when you assault kids, whether it's sexually or physically, like you are like the lowest of the low. Innocent kids, man. I mean, just imagine 250 pounds versus an 8-year-old that weighs 68 pounds. He's screaming at the top of his lungs, please stop. I'm sorry. Leave me alone, please stop. No one came to his rescue. I'm not an individual that preaches violence. I'm not an individual that I just don't believe that you fight an eye for an eye. But in this case, that deputy, he needed to get the business. Now, for you all that don't know what get the business means, he needed to be dealt with accordingly. Now, at that particular time, it was probably, even if you had a parent or an adult that just happened to walk in and they seen it, I'm sure that the coward walks around with a gun on his hip. So I don't know what you actually could have done at that particular time, but guess what? If you know, you know. What's understood don't need to be explained. You're not going to just put your hands on any of my kids, let alone my 8-year-old kid with special needs that's not even a threat to you whatsoever. What could an 8-year-old do that weighs 68 pounds? What could he possibly do with no weapon of sorts? What could he possibly do to a 250-pound deputy? Now, the deputy claims that the 8-year-old bit him. Now, let's just say he did bite him. When you all see this video, if you take the time to go look at it, he didn't deserve to get beat like that. You shouldn't even have put your hands on the kid. The kid was walking back to the classroom. But see, that's why a lot of times people say, oh, Real Kens, man, why you don't like police? It's not that I don't like police. It's just that I don't like the ones that abuse their authority. Like this tough guy. See, police, what they'll do is that racism that they have in them and that hatred that they have in them, because a lot of times that's what it is. All police racist? No. But are some racist? You bet your bottom dollar. That's why when situations occur, they can't resist. They can't control themselves. They lose track of the fact that it's 10,000 people out here. But that hatred that you have in your heart, that strife that you have in your heart, you act accordingly to how you really, really feel. You act accordingly. Well, police have difficult jobs. So I want to hear you weirdos. What's your excuse now? Every time the police kill somebody that's laying flat on their stomach with cuffs behind their back with 4 officers on them and they still kill them, y'all still have an excuse for these officers. How tough their job is, and I get it. It's a tough job being a police officer. And we do need police. So no, I don't hate the police. I just can't stand police like him. I just can't stand police like Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is. He just got stabbed up right around Thanksgiving, 22 times. He got a long way to go. It's a 22-year sentence. I'm quite sure this won't be the last time. This individual needs to be locked up for a long time, man. You don't do that. You don't assault anyone. And you especially don't assault an 8-year-old kid with special needs. So I want you all to really, really focus and think to yourself, what would I do? What would I do? People are very, very protective of their kids. People would die for their kids. I know I would. I'm sure you would just as well. I told a story on my, a few weeks ago about an individual that he had gotten wrong information. A father, he was told by the son that the stepdad was beating him and, assaulted him or whatever. So the father goes over there and, he has a shotgun and, he tries to take the stepdad out. Come to find out, the stepdad never touched the kid. The kid just didn't like going over there because the stepdad tried to teach him responsibility and make him clean his room up and do, little chores while he was over there for the weekend. So now the father is on his way to prison next month for a lengthy prison sentence. So the point that I make is people would do anything for their kids. May not have been the best decision in the world, but that's what he felt like he needed to do. You don't put your hands on people's kids, man. You don't put your hands on nobody. But you for damn sure don't put your hands on a child, 8 years old. I'm going to go back, as I mentioned, and I'm going to really dig deep into this story. I'm going to dig deep. I want to know what happened to this deputy. I want to know, was he ever charged? Was he ever, is the case still pending? Because February of 22, so you're looking at nearly 2 years since this has happened. 22 months. He could still be, in court. Perhaps he never got charged. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to find out. Hell, they probably started a GoFundMe for him. If he did get locked up, they probably started a GoFundMe for him to pay for his attorney fees and bond, and because that's what they do. Hateful people in this world, man. Very, very hateful individuals in this world. See, all the bad people are not in prison. Now, there's some bad people in prison, don't get me wrong, but there's also some very good people in prison that just went down that wrong path in life. It's a lot of bad people walking the face of this earth, man, that would take you out any opportunity, any chance that they get. Any opportunity, they'll take you out. I pulled up in someone's driveway not long ago, not fully in the driveway. Actually, I was at the wrong house. I was delivering, and it was dark. I couldn't really see. I was at the wrong house. I proceeded to pull out of the driveway, Dude comes out of the house, shotgun in hand. Looked like a shotgun. It was definitely a weapon. I don't know if it was an AR. I don't know. I know it was because like I said, it was dark. Had a problem with me pulling in his driveway. I'm sorry, sir. Only thing that probably saved me was the fact that he knew I'm just a pizza man. That's all I am. I'm just a pizza man. It's really messed up, man. It's really, really messed up. And then you have people that always want to, it's like they always want to defend unacceptable behavior. This was unacceptable behavior. Not one time did I hear on that video the principal. Now, I don't know if the principal had left at that point, but I don't see why he would have left. The principal was the one that told the story. The officer reached out and assaulted the kid. So clearly the principal hadn't gone anywhere now that I really think about it. Never heard anyone saying, get off of him, let him go. You know, you're hurting him. You don't do that to a child. Never. You just heard the child screaming, pleading for help. And you heard Officer Dickhead, sorry about that, Officer Benjamin yelling at this kid. Y'all go check it out, man. Benjamin, and his last name is Jacquot. I don't know if it's Jaquit. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But what I do know is what I seen. My eyes have never lied to me. And if I failed to mention it, it was an 8-year-old black kid with special needs, which I'm sure that, that doesn't come as a surprise. Just another day. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Y'all go check it out. I'm going to dig some more later on. And I'm going to bring you part 2 of this video because I'm very intrigued at this point. And I definitely want to know what happened to Officer Dickhead. Why do I keep calling him Officer Dickhead? That is so rude of me. Officer Benjamin. Deputy Benjamin. I'm sorry. Deputy Benjamin. The tough guy. You see how tough you are when you're in penitentiary. You with them lions, tigers, and bears. Do them like that. You gotta show how tough you are. Derek Chauvin thought he was tough too. Real Kens TV.